If anybody wants to talk to Angelo to see if it's true, he's at the pool at the beach.
Yeah. You can see if that didn't get more, but you can check with the Lord.
But I think what Moses was saying was like pay it forward, right? And taking this job is a way to get back and to pay those opportunities that were granted to you forward. But also from a personal sense of pride, also showing as an example that you can rise through and be something better than maybe came before you, right? In essence, you took the job as a leader to pay it forward for others, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Jimmy. He probably believed in me before I did.
Very fair, very fair. Anybody else?
Hey, hello everybody. I'm Jay Ferguson from District Council 78, Local 88, up in Tampa. The reason I took this job, I came down just from DC 9 actually. So when I got here, it was a shell shock. And that's probably what shocked me into trying to get into this job. I left, when we used to do our meetings in New York, there's usually 200-300 people there. Coming down here, it was like 2 or 3 people. And after a few months of going to meetings, it didn't take me long to believe in myself that this is not going to last long. When I say last long, I mean I was under the impression that we weren't even going to have a local out there anymore. So I had a choice, either go back to New York, which I wouldn't mind doing that, or try to make a difference down here where I live now and reside with people I started working with and having camaraderie with. So I went ahead and put an application, and that was my reason to get on staff and try to make a difference. And before I knew what it entailed, I thought I could get in there and change local AD by myself. But once I got on, I realized that I found I put it as a collective effort. It's a teamwork effort. And that's pretty much my story here.
Thanks, Rick. Anybody else want to share?
My name is Bobby Mitchell. I'm from DC 53, West Virginia, and I'm going to blow your minds. I'm a hydro rep. A lot of people don't know what that is. I was in the field for a long time, and hydro didn't have a voice, I think. We felt ignored. And then I met a rep called Steve Hicks. He retired, but he tutored me to come up by becoming a steward, becoming a delegate, and then I got on staff. And my long-term goal is to make sure hydro always has a voice.
Nice. Anybody else hear a story from somebody they talked to, Joe?
I got paired up with Pete Cassiano, who I've known for some time, and I realized that our stories are very similar.
And you guys have similar hairstyles?
We just don't find each other, you know. But I mean, in a nutshell, basically, we both eventually at some point, before getting on staff, ran for president of our locals. And it's because we wanted to see change. We didn't feel the current leadership, we felt it was stale and needed to be disrupted to some level. That's what got us both into this. We're very similar pathway. Even our beginnings before getting into union, working for like, say, a double-breasted shop in the non-union sector, you know, where we got to see the union side of things, but it was kept hidden from us. So don't look over there, kid. You know, no, you don't want to be like those guys. You know, but we saw it. We were both attracted to and wanted to be in it. And we both did it for a better lifestyle. You know, plain and simple. And then reluctantly almost ended up in leadership positions where we kind of like, oh, come on, someone else do it. But we know it needs done.
Right.
Pretty
Felt
cool.
underrepresented, wanted to see a change, and had the opportunity, instead of just saying, well, somebody else will handle that, I'll step in and try to make a change. Cool. Anybody else? Antonio?
Actually, I had the pleasure of talking to Al from DC 78. Essentially, he told me the reason he took the role that he has now was, fortunately, his predecessor had passed. It was something he was a little hesitant to take at first, but he understood that that it was his local. And at the end of the day, he wanted to ensure that that leadership was held by someone who valued what was important to that local. So he took the call, even though it was
Who took the job thinking they were in the mob? Please, change your ringtone. Stereotypes, man.
Hilarious. Took the call and wanted to make sure you let it in your
Good deal. Anybody else? I'll take one, two more. All right, I'm gonna share my story. Go ahead, Travis.
I spoke with David and Larry from DC 77. Both of them have a similar story. And that the fact that they weren't looking for the role. They weren't looking for the job. They took the job because they knew they could do the job. And they've proven that they've done a good job with it.
Right. Weren't seeking it, but when given the opportunity, said, you know what, I can make a difference.
Yeah, they did their good.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Jimmy, John was raising his hand, you were going.
John Drew? Yeah, John Drew. It's your turn to share why you took the job and what you hope to accomplish.
Wow. I must be near the end. So, my story is a little different. You know, I was homeless from the age of 13 to 17. And, you know, living on the streets was a difficult time in the South Bronx, but I took a job as a non-union painter. And I was sent to paint the fence outside of my area, the Bronx, and I had never traveled outside of my home. That's all I knew. So I go and I'm painting this fence in another part of Queens, and the people in the neighborhood wanted to have a discussion with me about why I was there. So I came back the next day, a little beat up, and the next day, and the next day. So finally, the owner of the house comes out and says, you either must be the stupidest painter I've ever seen or really thick-headed. And he was the head of the union, and he gave me an opportunity. And I remember him telling me when I showed up for the application for the apprentice program, whatever you do, it's going to better your life. And I really didn't know. And I waited online for 2 days, got my application, and I came in. And from the moment, we talk about the pride. And again, I came in when I was 1984, and that pride was instilled in you right away when you got that card. And you went into that union hall and you were sworn in. You knew it was an oath. And I had some really great mentors coming and showing me what it was to be a union member. It was pride. And you were more active than what you did. And what held accountable. So through that program, I was able to go to school, which wasn't so easy, but I got through that, graduated. And I'll never forget the journey people. But when I first came on, I didn't even have money for coffee. And they would break it up and roll off, or they would give me money for coffee. It wasn't easy feeding me, but you know. But I went through that program and I graduated. And I learned everything you could learn in this industry to be the best that you could be. But the more important education I got was how to be a good union member. You didn't miss your local meetings. Why? And again, if you ask me what was the difference, was back then you got an education in the law. And when you speak to some members today, they tell you, you know why they don't go to these meetings? Because it's the same message. So I learned to go, and you didn't miss me. When I graduated, I was a full person, a super. Wasn't anything in this industry I didn't do. And I was happy. And I always gave back because I felt out in the field I could put more people to work. Was I happy with my back leadership back then? I'm not going to sit there and tell you. Seemed enough. So one day, you know, I'm in my late 30s. I get a call from Joe Maggie. You know, my present business manager. I was very fortunate to work with two great Joes. Wasn't even where he was. So I get called down to the council, and for the first time, Jimmy, I need your dad. And they pull me down there, and I'm like, what is this about? And I remember your father telling me, well, Joe, it's time to give back. I was very happy. Had a good job, was putting people to work. And at first I said, no, I think I can do more for this great union out in the field. Because that's where the disconnect is. Right? We can help more. And I remember walking out, Joe and Maggie are telling me with your dad, we're not gonna give you another opportunity. And how dare you? I was a little, not that I had a temper, but I was a little, yeah, I had a temper. Right,
No. I swear.
how dare you not give back after everything the straight union gave you? And I took that job as an organizer. I was very fortunate to work, very fortunate to change a lot of things, because we were always taught, if you want to be the change, stop sitting on the bucket, get out of your cubicles, and make that change. Because you can preach everything here, if you don't enforce that change, nothing happens. And I was fortunate, I took it. And I worked under two great business managers, and I worked under your dad and you, Jimmy, we were organizers together. And, I guess Paul too, but, you know. We love Paul. So that's my story, and again, I tried to, after all these years, remember what it was like to be a member. What it was like to stay, not that you forget. We're fortunate ones here. Take a look where we're staying. How many of our members have come here? Right? You know why? I mean, yeah, think about that, right? We're very fortunate. So we work hard, everything we do for our members, we hold them accountable. But if it wasn't for this great union, I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in Boston, but I would still be here. I wouldn't be here, more than likely, because where I came from, the paths. And either one of them didn't lead to a good area. So I'm proud of Joe, my business manager, I'm proud of all our staff and everyone. And I see a lot of people I came up with here doing well. But never forget, ever forget, we do this for our members in this community. Look around this room and ask yourself honestly, where would you be if it wasn't for this great organization? And you can't get to this point and say, I did my time, I'm done. You still gotta be concerned, and you always wanna help out and mentor these young people, because they don't know. And if you go to a local meeting, there's 6 people, 8 people, in that meeting, how many of you are executive board? That's a shame. And like Jimmy said, it's easy to take shots online, because no one can confront you with that, but you gotta engage these members, because that's all we got is each other. Stick together as councils too, we board each other. You know, we joke around a lot, but think about it, our contractors travel from district council to district council. We have a contractor down in Florida, we worked down in Florida, we had a couple of problems with him, Joe made us reach out to him, vice versa, we worked together. But it's an honor, it's a great honor that someone chose me to come to this great organization and to serve and going on 20 years as a union official. It's the greatest gift, and I appreciate you listening to my story.
Thanks for raising your hand, John.
Thank you.